On this week's episode of The Video Store, Josh becomes Tiger King in the Ozark, while Frank starts World War Z and it's a disaster. While Josh and the Angel has fallen with Lost Girls and Frank rounders the hunt with other people in Vivarium. While we listen up Phils to 7 stages of eternal bliss, while Josh goes Blade Runner yelling Red Dawn at Don Verdean, and Frank and the Gentleman stole a portrait of a lady on fire in a police story.
Jackie fucking Chan.
Strip club, see some hoes that I went to school with. Out in London like Lennox Lewis. Bitch looking like Farrah Fawcett. I'm just trying to make better music. Get this money, share the profits. Now this class.
Welcome to the Video Store Podcast. We are here to discuss movies, TV shows, and everything else that we've watched on digital disc streaming and theaters. My name is Frank.
And this is Josh. Hello. Good sir.
How's it going?
Just like everyone else, we're sitting in here, sitting inside, quarantining in some format and watching lots of stuff to help the other people get by on the hours. So it's just thoughtless work here and selfless work.
Yeah, my schedule really hasn't changed too much because I have to work still. I'm essential.
I'm essential too, but I have to work from home and I can't, all of the commercial world has slowed down a bit. So things are just out of sorts. It's weird.
How do you like to work from home?
It's okay at points. I need about a balance of I would need about a 50-50 split and not getting any office time. It's hard to get a couple things done, but it is what it is. It'd be more interesting to do it when there's my regular workload.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The cat keeps jumping up and saying, "Hey, I need attention." I'm like, "No, you own the fucking floor plans."
Because you used to have a 1-bedroom, or?
Yeah, I have a 1-bedroom apartment, but it doesn't mean the cat doesn't have 3 other rooms: the bathroom, the bedroom, the laundry half room.
Gotcha, but no dedicated office. You can just hide.
No, and I would never do that to her anyways. She would just bitch outside the door and then be like, "Hey, you fucking let me in here."
Sweet man. Yeah, I haven't really watched a lot of extra stuff. I'm playing more video games.
Yeah, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII for the old one.
Okay, getting the remake Friday.
I don't have a PlayStation, but it's really tempting to do so because that was my favorite game. So.
Yeah, I haven't gamed in a while for various reasons, but if I don't get back into gaming now, I need to just get rid of my systems, because if I'm not going to at this point, then I never will.
Send me that PlayStation, man.
But one thing I'm playing is the MLB The Show, which is on PlayStation. I have so many games to catch up on. Anyways, besides that, I just trying to break up my days in between chores and exercise and watching stuff, so I haven't had a full 10-hour day of binging anything yet, but I'm sure I'll get there.
Sure. It's a goal for all of us.
Yeah. Speaking of things we're looking forward to, we have one thoughts and trailers.
One thought
edition.
And trailer.
Yeah, we have a trailer and we have some thoughts. On 420, The Midnight Gospel is an animated series created by Duncan Trussell, stand-up comedian. Will debut on Netflix, and it's about Clancy, who is a spacecaster that has a malfunctioning multiverse simulator who leaves the comfort of his home to interview beings living in dying worlds. So it's like a intergalactic, multidimensional podcast, and it looks like it's animated by the team that did Adventure Time. So it definitely looks cool. Duncan's really into spiritualism and drugs, so it definitely looks like something you might want to partake in some things with. There's no mistake that
we don't suggest, absolutely not. We do not recommend.
I said might.
Type of, you watch the show and you make your own adult choices.
Take 2 vitamin C's, but I don't think there's any mistake that
drink some Tang.
It didn't accidentally come out on 420. But yeah, I think it looks cool. I might start looking like we used to on the podcast into the future and see what's coming out.
Yeah, you should do that. We should do that bit. That's a good bit.
Because with the lack of theatrical releases, we're going to be streaming more than ever right now.
Yeah, we're streaming and beaming.
Yeah. Moving on to TV time. the thing everyone is talking about, man. And I just wrapped it up. Tiger King.
Carol Baskin.
Yeah. Nothing has, besides toilet paper sales and soap sales, I don't think anything has benefited more from this time than the Tiger King. It's like the biggest series right now. Just, it reminds me of what was the murder one? Making a Murderer.
Sure.
Yeah, this has got as much buzz as that. So Tiger King is about a rivalry between big cat eccentrics, and it takes a dark turn when Joe Exotic, a controversial animal park boss, is caught in a murder-for-hire plot. So there's 7 episodes. They're about 45 minutes apiece. This is super hyped up. You've seen the memes if you haven't seen the show. And I think overall it mostly lives up to the hype. What'd you think?
Yeah. Look, I saw it really initially when it came out, so you kind of watch it blow up, and at first without the hype background, and you're looking at the story. I absolutely think it is a general crisis or issue that needs to be exposed as far as the privatization of exotic animals and abuse of them in the United States and otherwise. I really don't agree with the methods of how people support these animals. I'm going to support them by going to the zoos. No, that's not how you do it. You support the sanctuaries that release the animals and train them to go back in the wild, or keep them on free-range properties in usually other countries. If you really care about the animals, people that just want to take a selfie, those are, your pieces of shit.
Yeah, just ignorant people.
Look, I mean, I get it. It's a cool animal, and everyone loves an opportunity to take a picture. But people that take a picture and then say they give a fuck about the species and how endangered they are, and just how they're treated and abused here. Even if they were treated well, keeping them in cages here, that's not the way to go about it. Anyways, off of the animal abuse side of it and the storyline and the murder for hire, I think it's great. I think it's hilarious that there's so much still unanswered as far as
Carol Baskin's husband is dead. Fed him to the tigers.
I think that woman's probably going to get arrested eventually for fucking feeding her husband to the tigers.
More Netflix justice.
I mean, it's going to be season 2 for sure. But and then the Antle cult situation where the guy trains all the women and changes their names just to fuck them and make them get boobs and all this shit. I'm happy that was also exposed, because the abuse of women and people that were just weaker minded at the time, looking for something to join and being conditioned by this, the dude's a pedophile as far as I'm concerned. Mind you, pretty much, it's interesting. If you like tigers, most of them are pedophiles. It's weird.
The animals themselves?
No, I'm saying the people that were into the tigers.
I thought you were dropping some nature info like tigers.
No,
pedophiles.
I'm saying that all these crazy ass tiger people were really demented sexually and had a lot of internal issues. And I think you really do see what the guy Joe had done to the people around him, and people were like in some like fake pseudo happy world when it was really just a guy conditioning people based on what he wanted, and it fucked a lot of people up. I mean, that's why that one guy accidentally shot himself or did shoot himself or what have you. It's terrible people having a grip on other people, and being able to break free of that's really hard to do. But yeah, it was fucking crazy, man. I mean, it was shenanifucks.
Shenanifucks indeed. Yeah, my main takeaway, because there's so much personal drama between these people, and they kind of like self-exploit themselves. Like, you could argue it's like exploitation, but everyone there was just like ready to be on camera, and we're definitely playing up characters of themselves.
Did you see the big guy that like had a scene put in just of him riding on a jet ski for no reason at all?
Yeah, that's a fucking... I saw the meme first, and I didn't realize it was from this. And so, yeah, it's like later in the series. But yeah, dude, my main takeaway too was like the only innocents in all this were the animals, and like the cruelty, and those. I knew of Joe Exotic from John Oliver's show in 2016, right. And then I just heard on like the Daily Show before, and Joe Rogan talk about how there's more tigers in captivity than there is in the wild because they're being bred, for just
For
like
this.
yeah, for glamour, the glamour ownership and some stupid shit.
Right.
And then did you know like the one there's so many like crimes, unsolved crimes in this thing, but the fire with the alligators that they are actually Michael Jackson's alligators.
Yeah, I did see that from an interview. Saw an interview of somebody that was interested. I guess it was the one husband, the one that left him.
Yeah.
He was talking about his favorite animals or something, and was talking about Michael Jackson's alligators and why did they solve that crime? Did they figure out who set it on fire?
Yeah, I didn't see that they solved it. I just saw like the story. Like someone found clips from the newspaper when it happened. And the big story back then was that it was Michael Jackson's alligators, not that it was part of these. These people weren't famous yet.
Right.
And then, like your boy Antle, like there's pictures of him with Britney Spears. I think
Don't say he's my boy, dude. That's not
yeah, he's terrible. But like I guess like because they had those exotic animals and they were used on music videos and
right. You saw
concerts.
all the movies that he had done, and it's like, man, you're fucking. People just went along with it.
Mm-hmm. But they had access, and that's what they had access to these animals and expertise, I guess you would call it. And there was some power with that and some intrigue, and they like roped some people in, like you said, into like this cult. Like I could see like a summer job when I was a teenager, like that'd be cool as shit to work with these animals.
Yeah, and get your arm ripped off.
And then I was like, you'd be too young to like realize, you'd be ignorant to the exploitation and the cruelty to these animals.
Right, for sure.
But yeah, like these people dedicated their lives to it. And there was, I thought John Wrinkle, the guy who had the 2 prosthetic legs, he comes off as like a really good dude. Kelsey Saffery was the girl who lost her arm. She seemed pretty good person too.
What about the long blonde haired guy?
Yeah. What is his name?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's
like the lead handler.
He's probably my favorite. Yeah, with the glasses.
Yeah, he just cared about the animals, man.
He had the scene at the end where he seemed like he was pretty drunk. Eric Cowie, yeah, he's the head keeper.
Yeah.
During the heydays. And also, I love the fucking campaign manager, libertarian, Joshua Dahl. Yeah, what this reminded me of is like, this is like a Coen Brothers plot in real life. Like these fucking characters and the backstabbing and the drama and like the fucking failed plans and the fact that there's a whole
like
show
after reading Tigers.
Yeah, and then the Rick Kirkham had the whole show being made and in all that footage being lost and like there's a show before the show and like the fact they procured like all this footage includes like stealth cell phone camera video footage that seemed like that guy Jeff Lowe gave to the people and like then they try to like really frame him like. There's so many weird characters, dude. It's totally Coen Brothers-ish. Like, that guy Alan, the potential hitman, like...
Here's Alan, convict that got out and fuck this shit.
Yeah, it's fucking Joe Exotic's 2 husbands. Like, they're just, like... They're fucking Coen Brothers characters. It's wild.
It's fucked up. Let's not give it too much attention. We know everyone knows it. But look, if you haven't seen Tiger King, well, you probably already have.
It's a great thing to see right now, and it's like the virtual water cooler where, like, if you're talking to your friends on FaceTime or in group text, like, it's just a great thing to talk about. And I will say the ending was kind of anticlimactic because I assume there's going to be a season 2. It didn't really have like a big.
It's so weird to me when people talk about real life stories. Like, I hope there's a season 2. Like,
I say I hope there's going to be, but it just leaves it open. Like the way it's curated is to leave it open for season 2. Like what they could have did, it's deliberate, like deliberately paced. They could have had it like the court case could have been the exclamation point, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, very
and those
true.
Fucking country videos, dude.
Did you know that wasn't really him singing?
Yeah, for sure. Because in the funeral scene, it's different voice too.
Yeah.
So fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, so it was. That's something else. Those videos, though, they're a hit now, man. Mm-hmm. It was interesting to see these people have a war over the internet when the internet was first happening.
Yeah, what a war it was too.
Like fucking terrible green screen video, just like. The worst. I don't know. Anyways, Tiger King, Carol Baskin. Check it out.
Yeah, and then I think it's interesting, and it ties into the next thing we'll talk about, is that now Netflix shows like their top 10 Do you like that? I think it's pretty interesting. When you see like what the top 10 most popular things. There's like some random Mel Gibson movie that's in there right now. It's just so strange. But like Tiger King's number 1, and then Ozark season 3 is number 2 right now.
Boom. 1 and 2. Did them both. I did Ozark on a full Sunday.
Oh, you just binged it all?
Just fucking watched all that
Did you
shit.
order some food?
I don't even remember, man. I don't remember. I'm having a hard time with what day it is today. So
It is Wednesday?
all right,
it's
I
Wednesday.
believe you. I don't think you have any reason to lie to me.
But you're just like comatose on the couch.
So
Couch
it is
coma.
what it is, man. I just exist, man. I'm a spiritual wave of blob.
Yeah. Well, give me a brief rundown of the show and tell me what you thought about the 3rd season.
Have you seen any of these seasons?
No, I've heard good things. I love Jason Bateman, Laura
Yeah.
Linney, and
Yeah.
Julia Gardner is she's in Americans. I thought she was really great in that. So
I also really love her. She's great in this show, and what I've seen her in. So Ozark, if you're not familiar, it's about a financial advisor that drags his family from Chicago to the Missouri Ozarks, where he must launder money to appease the drug cartel. I think the movie, just to give a little light overview if you're not familiar, season 1 kicks off very strong, very powerful, grabs you in very quickly, and holy shit, strap in for the ride. And I think the season in and all is very damn good and leaves a hell of a cliffhanger. And it's super great that you can just stroll right on to season 2 and figure out what the fuck happened next, unlike some of us at the time. Season 2, solid holdover, more developments, plot building with these characters. And really the storyline isn't as much of a rinse and repeat as it builds in a manner of stairs, and so I've seen shows that constantly rinse and repeat the same cycles, although the same tones are there. It's definitely super great. So into the 3rd season, I don't know how much I can get into that. There's a casino, a boat casino that the family has gotten involved with to try and utilize this to launder money. A new character shows up, being Laura Linney's brother, and plays heavily into this season's storyline. I think this show does an amazing job with the character relationships and takes care of them, and you really feel the emotion and development. And there's so many great what the fuck moments, and always kind of leaves you a little bit guessing about what's going to happen. There's a few things you can kind of figure out, but for the most part, I can say Laura Linney, FYI, is a cold-hearted savage. I'd say this season definitely mainly develops around Jason Bateman and Laura Linney's relationship. Well, they're married, so they're
the Bird
marriage.
family.
Yeah, the Marty and Wendy Bird. So it mainly centralizes around their marriage and the balance of trust and power and some of that. But holy fuck, ends on a crazy note, starts crazy. It's just it's a something show, man. I think this is really great television that people are probably missing out on.
No, I've heard some good things about it. So, and it's peak streaming time, peak binging time. Yeah,
dude, this is the time. Binge that shit out. Julia Garner, by the way, plays Ruth Langmore, who's kind of this Southern hick girl that gets involved in Bateman shit when he gets to the Ozarks, and then plays a more pivotal role. And are you familiar with Charlie Tahan?
Not offhand. I have to look him up.
He was in I Am Legend. He was in Gotham.
Yeah.
Okay, he plays. Have you seen any of the new Gotham show?
No, I know you're into it. I really didn't.
He
looks familiar though. But
yeah,
he's really good in this.
Yeah, definitely plays. I mean, there's just very crazy relationships between these people that live in this small town that, it's a tiny town that turned out to be like somewhat of redneck trash at this point. There's a lot of skeevy shit, just weird, crazy things happening. Check it out, Ozark.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking for something soon. I'm watching Devs and Better Call Saul, and they're wrapping up shortly. I'll talk about them when they're over.
Sure.
But after that, I really don't have any TV that I'm following, so I'll be looking for something. Moving on to flicks that we picked.
Our nose.
I did go through a little bit of a end of the world apocalyptic movie streak. You'll notice in here. starting off, World War Z is on digital rental and on FX now, right? At the moment. And this is a movie that I missed. 2013 release starring Brad Pitt. Was adapted from like a huge best-selling book. And I did not like this movie at all, man. I flat out thought it sucked. It was pretty boring. The action was terrible. I don't know. I just did not dig this one at all. Did you ever check it out?
Yeah, I saw it quite a while ago. I think you're in agreement. Most people didn't enjoy it, but the zombie piles were kind of cool, right? Just a little cool.
Digital zombie piles, yeah. Brad Pitt was it's one of those things where like, oh, you're retired, you're taking care of your family, but we got to pull you back in because you were the guy.
It reminded me of Munich with zombies.
Yeah, it's a zombie pandemic, and they talk about it. It is like a disease spread situation, and they do get into like the history of certain pandemics and things like that. But yeah, it's just really not that interesting, man. Just a bad action movie, bad sci-fi movie. Probably, honestly, the worst Brad Pitt movie. Like once there started to become Brad Pitt movies where he wasn't just like doing cameos. I think it's the worst one. Yeah,
it's a pretty shite one for sure.
Total shite. I also checked out a indie comedy that is free streaming on Kanopy and also available for digital rental called It's a Disaster. Written and directed by Todd Berger. Did you see this one?
Todd Berger?
Yeah.
Who's in it?
David Cross, Julia Stiles.
No.
So it's a Sunday brunch between a group of friends, and David Cross is just starting to date Julia Stiles, who's had bad luck with guys, and they meet for this Sunday brunch, only to discover they're stuck in the house together as the world is maybe ending due to a military chemical weapons attack.
Cool, dirty bomb.
Yeah, dirty bomb, exactly. So you get to meet all the characters, and there's like some drama going on between these couples, and it's basically like, what if you and your friends were stuck in the house when the world could possibly be ending? And it was very sharp, witty movie, and I thought it was very funny. So I'm definitely recommending this one. And it's a good reminder, man. David Cross is really funny, and Julia Stiles is pretty decent too. And the rest of the cast is like familiar faces, but people that I really wasn't super familiar with. But I think you would dig it too. It's got, it's dark humor, obviously, considering the plot, but worth checking out.
Yeah, all right.
And then sadly, let's talk about this next one that we both watched.
Sure. But I saw it a while ago.
Yeah. Do you remember your feelings on Angel Has Fallen? We're big Gerard Butler fans, obviously.
I liked a couple moments with over the top Nick Nolte. That's about it. It sucks.
Yeah, this is the third in which I guess is a trilogy of these movies where Morgan Freeman is president and Gerard Butler is like the top Secret Service guy. He's like fucking superhuman. And in this one, he's framed. And what was like a bone-breaking, brutal action movie in the first two turns into a Man on the Run. And that's what I think where they fucked up. Like, they didn't play to the strengths of this movie. And like, they just didn't know how to make this interesting. It wasn't the right character or the right movie for this Man on the Run thing.
Yeah, it should have been Harrison Ford.
Yeah, like, those kind of movies are... I mean, you joke, but like, Harrison Ford's like kind of the toughest of those, like, not really an action star. Like, think about, you just talked about Outbreak last week, like Dustin Hoffman. He's not really an action star. He's just like a smart guy who yells.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is like the toughest of those. Like, you don't use Gerard Butler in that. Like, that's not what you use him for.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, have you ever seen Machine Gun Preacher with him?
Why does that sound familiar? Yeah, I'm pretty
2011, yeah, I never saw that one. And
yeah, that came out when we worked at Blockbuster.
Yeah, was that good?
I think it was not what I thought it was going to be.
Because I looked it up. I was actually looking up Mark Forster, who's the director of World War Z. I was like, I know this guy from something. And then I was like...
I've seen that. Yeah, I saw that. And I don't 100% remember it.
All right, maybe we'll have to revisit that. And I was just like, oh, that's cool, because I'm definitely thirsting for like a good Gerard Butler movie that I haven't seen before.
It's not the Gerard Butler movie, the action over the top crazy. It's not that, even though it has Machine Gun Preacher and a fucking baby in one hand and a fucking AK-47 in the other. It's not that movie.
Okay. Maybe we'll have to revisit that one. It's just, it's interesting, right? Like,
it's more Tears of the Sun.
I didn't even see Tears of the Sun.
Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Man.
That just didn't appeal to me.
I walked out of that theater.
Well, hopefully you walk out of every theater.
Yes, Frank. I walk out of every theater until I don't.
I crawled out of the theater after that one. I crawled.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, that was disappointing. So, not worth your time. Even if you're a big fan, like it sounds like we both were, of the Fallen series. That's by far the worst one and just not worth your time.
Well, fuck it then. Just go watch the first one. Yeah. White House Has Fallen.
So tell me about Lost Girls. This is a new 2020 film on Netflix, right?
Yes, you would be correct. Do you know anything about it?
Looks like it's a daughter's disappearance and, a mother upset with how the police are handling it.
Yeah, so actually, true story. Daughter goes disappearing. Daughter apparently was involved as a sex worker and things like that. And as you can tell, people just treat sex workers as not humans and people that they give absolutely no fucks about. And however they ended up in the situation, which is just crazy to me because I feel like there's worse jobs out there. Like if a hitman went missing, you'd be like, oh, well, it might have been work related, right? But these are people that fell in hard times, have nothing else, rely on these things. I'm not saying that I condone any of this, but they're still fucking people, just like homeless people are people. We have an easy time at throwing them away and being callous of the nature, and thinking that everyone's just lost and gone. But this is a story about a mom who's not giving up on her daughter and going to find out what she can and chase down the leads where she can and figure out what the fuck happened. And so as she's trying to push her story and find out more, it's discovered there's roughly another dozen women that were murdered in the area and found, answering a lot of questions of other bodies that, cops just stopped investigating. So I think it's just another definite presentation of that loss of interest and want of decency and being complacent and, having an answer that's not the right answer, but it's an answer. It's just like, fuck. And that's not always what works for everybody. Some people want to know what happened to their family, which is usually justified. So the fact that they have to fight themselves for this is pretty painful. I'd say overall as the movie, pretty decent, good performance. You may recognize Amy Ryan from a few things. I don't know how familiar you are. I think The Office back in the day, she was Michael Scott's love interest, I think. I feel like I'm calling this right. I could be calling this completely wrong.
No, you're right. That's what she was from. She was also in The Wire.
Good.
Which you
so I'm not
watched.
Completely fucking retarded. Good.
Yeah, Amy Ryan's good.
Yeah. So she goes balls to the wall and just takes no shit and does what she can to figure out what happened. And then they show the video at the end of the actual mother that had lost her daughter and was still pursuing the case as people were not. I mean, it's fucked up that you have to ask somebody just in any situation to do your job. That's if you don't like doing your job, get a different fucking job in any situation. If you don't like what you're doing at all and you're using it as an excuse not to do your job, get a different fucking job because that's not an excuse.
Gotta agree with you there, man. So I know you're a big Rounders fan. When's the last time you saw it?
All you do is check. I don't know. It's probably been a minute.
Yeah, it's like a classic now. It's over 20 years old, which is
look. I was a professional poker player.
Crazy to think of. Yeah, you did it for a while, man. You lived that life, and you had a handle.
Not as dramatic. I didn't have a worm. There might have been a worm in there somewhere, but not as.
If you can't identify the worm, you are the worm.
Maybe so. But I believe there's probably a few of them, but not to that dramatics of endangering my life.
Yeah, so Rounders is on Netflix. I was just looking for something that I thought, I was at a house. This was pre-pandemic, and they were like, "Oh, put something on." I was like, "This is a crowd pleaser. Everyone will love this movie." And they were like very familiar with Matt Damon, Edward Norton, John Malkovich, and never saw this movie. So this is a Miramax card shark drama. Matt Damon is a reformed gambler, and he bails. Doesn't bail. His buddy Worm, played by Edward Norton, gets out of jail, and he starts like getting back in the old circles and gets that itch to play cards again. Mm-hmm. And John Malkovich plays Teddy KGB, who's like a charming, goofy character, but they allude and just like that he's
he'll murder bitches.
Yeah, he'll murder bitches. Like it's all said. I don't know if it plays that well. And because it's Miramax, also John Turturro's in there as like a guy who doesn't take a lot of risk. He's like a rounder, which is
straight up one.
Yeah, he plays things a smart way. But I think this movie and then ESPN's airing of the World Series of Poker in the mid to late 90s, like were highly responsible for like the poker culture that it took over. And I still have friends that will play cards like as a source of income, which it's down now. But man, this movie still holds up. It's very good. It's not great. It was one of my favorite movies just because I saw it when I was like a teenager, and it's like such a cool underground world to be introduced in. And I think the performances hold up. Edward Norton, man, he's always great, especially when he gets to play like someone who's not that likable.
Yeah, he's always great in those roles. That's just kind of a spot that I like him in. Like 25th Hour was kind of another one where you weren't sure if you liked him or hated him kind of situation. If you ever saw that. Yeah,
I did. I like that one a lot too. And I just thought it was worth bringing up because, we're familiar with it. It's, something that we've seen dozens of times. But it's old enough where some people don't know about this movie. And,
well, there's a lot of things that depress me. You can bring up the name George Carlin to people nowadays, and they're not sure who that is.
Always relevant. You can actually go back. I was listening to a lot of Carlin when this all started, and it's great that how timeless his stuff is and will fit into any crazy shit that's going on in present day. There's George Carlin bits about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's the man forever and always.
Yeah. The Hunt was in theaters while there was still theatrical releases and is like the beginning of this new trend where you can rent movies or buy them for $20 and it's going to be a while before their regular VOD digital renting prices. So I'm interested. I haven't pulled the trigger on this one, but you tell me if this is worth $20.
Man, it's rough. I would not say it's worth $20, Frank.
Okay.
I would say it's not worth $20. This is worth, this is that $8.99 maybe. Back to our numbers, back to our dollar amounts. It's an okay watch. I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe I'm expecting more of these movies, and then when I don't feel like I got enough, I'll say this. Betty Gilpin, who plays kind of the main character, makes the most hilarious facial expressions and just cute little quirks, and is almost like silent but deadly in this role. Super great, super fun. Hilary Swank was somewhat fun. The overall storyline is a bunch of hard-leaning left people kidnap a bunch of right conservative people and then hunt them for sport in some manner while trying to make them realize why they're being hunted. Generally not the greatest premise, and the bits were okay-ish. I'd say the violent bits that they did were way better than any of the political bits. They were, and it just, none of it really landed too hard on the left versus right side as much as the maybe urban versus red. I don't want to say redneck, but not country folk, let's say. But it's a bunch of different people from different backgrounds. But I don't know. It was funky. It was weird. It had a lot of good little funny moments. But all in all, for this, what I thought might have had more action in it, might have had a little bit more good violence, and not just be so paced out, which it seemed to be.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely something I'm going to check out at some point because I like the premise and the cast. I was like, it was like that and Bloodshot. I was thinking about checking out like right before shit got shut down.
Sure.
And I was just like, just hearing stuff globally. I was like, I don't know if I want to. I actually had tickets for Bloodshot, like the premiere night. And I was like, I just don't feel like it. Yeah. So I'll check this one out too and see if I feel differently. But I'm glad
it's more
you got
red
to check
boxy. It's definitely a good one watch, but
or even like $5-6.
Yeah, that's fine. But I don't know. I thought maybe I was gonna get a little more than I did. But again, that's that expectation game, man.
True. So I don't know if melodrama is what people are in the mood for, but hey, maybe you just want to worry about other things.
They're not, Frank.
Yeah. I checked out Other People. This is a 2016 comedy drama starring Jesse Plemons, aka Meth Damon, as a struggling comedy writer who's fresh off for a breakup and is having just like, one of the worst years of your adult life. Like one of those years where you're just like, you're going back, you're backsliding. Things haven't worked out. You don't really have a plan B, so you're back with the parents. And Molly Shannon plays his mother, and he's taking care of her because she's dying of cancer. And Molly Shannon is amazing in this. Great performance. Jesse Plemons is really good too. And it does have some moments of comedy through tragedy. So it's like if you've ever been in a family that's kind of dysfunctional, and it's just where those people are pushed into real life scenarios, like shit gets real, just the awkwardness, and everyone gets tested. So I thought it was really well acted, really well done. Just warning people, it's pretty fucking sad. But I thought it was a good one, and that is available on Kanopy as well as on Hoopla as well as digital rental.
Digital rental.
And by the way, Hoopla and Kanopy, ever since this started, took their 12-month rental limit and changed it to 100 on Hoopla and 50 on Kanopy. So way more than you'll probably see. Yeah, my God. So just a heads up if you haven't tried those out yet.
What in the Sam Hill? Well, Frank.
Josh.
Take some Vivarium.
What is Vivarium?
Vivarium's a new pill that I have developed. It stars Jesse Eisenberg.
And
your girl.
Imogen Poots.
Imogen Poots.
She's so cool, man. I don't know.
Poots and Poots.
This is very interesting.
I love her last name. Poots. Anyways, Vivarium. It's a movie I saw a trailer of. It will look super weird, and boom. That's all I needed. You know me. Doesn't take much. Vivarium is about a young couple looking for the perfect home, and they find themselves trapped in a mysterious labyrinth-like neighborhood of identical houses in suburbia kind of situation. So fucking immediately the tempo is set as making you feel a bit uncomfortable, but it was in a good way. And I'm not saying visually disgusting. It's just the tone was right in there of like you were sitting on the edge of your seat, but you weren't falling off, and you're just like, this is kind of uncomfortable. Do you know that feeling?
Yeah.
The movie visually is shot very well, and this kid that shows up is fucking terrifying, dude. I mean, the kid just gave me some chilies, man. It's not a kid, or is it a kid? They're trying to figure out this whole thing. So basically in the trailer, you see that a baby shows up, and then they're like, raise the baby. And there's a sign on the box that says, raise the baby and you will be released. And then they start to raise the baby, and the baby grows up super fast. Like 50 days later, the kid's like 4 years old.
Yeah. The tagline for this movie, you're home forever. I mean, what a fucking timing they have right now with this one.
Oh my God. At least you're not in one of these fucking homes. Let me tell you this. I would definitely check this out for $6-7. Easily worth it. The performances were decent. I just think more so The story was really interesting and off-putting in a way that I enjoyed, and stuck in this world and hellhole that you can't figure your way out of. And the struggle between the relationship and also where they were succeeding, and where I felt like the relationship was winning over the situation that they were in. So very, very good. Everyone was great. Watch this shit.
Yeah, I don't think Jesse Eisenberg doesn't get enough credit with, like, he takes some interesting roles, man, in indie stuff. Like, he's done some big stuff, obviously, Social Network, Zombieland, playing Lex Luthor. But there's this one. We talked about Art of Self-Defense last year, which was really cool. And then American Ultra, the end of the tour, and then The Double. Have you ever seen The Double?
The Double.
Yeah, it's where he's a clerk in a government agency, and he finds out that there's a doppelganger of him, and he starts stalking him.
That sounds like the Jake Gyllenhaal one.
No, yeah, it's similar to that, but yeah, there's a lot of doppelganger movies. But yeah, this one's really cool. It's set in like a very dystopian future society. It's very gray and brownish. Like, dude, it's really cool. But yeah, he does a lot of cool stuff. And obviously, you saw American Ultra, right?
Yeah, no, actually, I rewatched that pretty recently, but I didn't throw it on here. I said, fuck it. But, oh, no, that kid's a great actor. He's going to be another wonderful, hopefully for years to come, just putting out great work as he constantly does. Yeah, maybe they're not all great winners, but the guy's always fighting for new roles and expanding his realm and pushing to do creative things. So.
Yeah, it's just some people you kind of trust when you have like you're
that they read the fucking script.
Like, yeah, that they just put together good stuff. Like, there's actors that I like better than Jesse Eisenberg, but like if I see them do an indie thing, I'm like, oh, like I think of Simon Pegg, like, who I love, but a lot of his indie stuff is just bad.
You don't like his indie stuff? Did you see? What did you hate?
So you want to get into it? I could go in there.
Get in there.
All right, let's go.
Know. I think there was like absolutely anything. It was all right. Wasn't amazing.
I don't know. A lot of them they have interesting ideas too, and then it's just like not good. So you tell me if I'm wrong. Simon Pegg will go post.
Slaughterhouse Rules was okay.
Big Nothing.
The Big Nothing was like his first foray into having an American accent.
Probably shouldn't did it. The Good Night, I don't remember what that is. Run Fat Boy Run, did not like.
I liked Run Fat Boy Run.
Paul was good. That doesn't even really count because Nick Frost was there. Spare Parts of the Video Game. The Fantastic Fear of Everything, didn't like that one.
I thought it was interesting. It was almost like a Gondry type, but didn't succeed.
Yeah. Hector and the Search for Happiness.
I don't know if I saw that.
Kill Me 3 Times.
I did see Kill Me 3 times.
Man Up was bad. I didn't like that one either.
I didn't watch that one. I had a feeling that was not going to be super.
Did you watch Slaughterhouse Rules? What is it?
I did. Yeah, I just told you.
Yeah, and you liked that one?
I thought it was all right. It wasn't terrible. It was his fucking, English school zombie movie. What's wrong? Why are you, it's not the worst. Fuck you! I love Simon Pegg.
After seeing like 2 or 3 of those bad ones, I'm very
shit on the Church of Pegg.
I'm very dubious. I love the man, but very dubious of his picks. Anyway, moving on. Another independent film that I watched on. Where did I watch this one? Kanopy, but you can digitally rent it if you don't have the Kanopy. Is Listen Up, Philip. This stars Jason Schwartzman, who I love, and Elizabeth Moss, who I also love. Love. And Kristen Ritter. Kristen Ritter, who I know you probably dig, is in that as well. And Philip is like tortured writer, asshole. Jason Schwartzman's character. He had a mildly successful book, so he's like trying to figure out a second one. Mm-hmm. And he just like pushes people out of his life. So it's like kind of like Woody Allen-ish type movie. It's directed and written by Alex Ross Perry. So not a lot of likable characters in it. I did like Elizabeth Moss's character and thought she did a great job. But really, really good acting. Not characters or people you would associate with necessarily that we would. But I thought it was, very well acted.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe you.
I'm glad you do. Trust is very important in this podcast. Moving on to another new release that you can digitally rent, or if you have the Hoopla, you can see for free. The very wordy titled 7 Stages to Achieve Eternal Bliss by Passing Through the Gateway Chosen by the Holy Storch. Or, more recently shortened to just 7 Stages to Achieve Eternal Bliss. So this one is about a small town couple finds a perfect apartment in the big city, except there's one catch. The apartment is home to a ritualistic suicides of a deranged cult that just happen routinely, almost weekly, if not more. This stars Kate Micucci and Sam Huntington, and there's a lot of cool cameos in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there are.
And I would say also the third star of this is Dan Harmon as Cartwright, the private detective, who just kind of I don't know. He comes in there and just comments and lets the people take away the dead bodies. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Good.
So very dark humor, goofy concept, filled with a bunch of comedians that make cameos. And Rhea Seehorn, who plays like the rich lady, the actress who got caught cheating. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's in Better Call Saul, and she's amazing in that. And she's pretty good in this. What'd you think of it, man?
I thought it was super fun and original, and I love Kate Micucci and Sam Huntington. There's just so many great people. More than that, I think the story is fun and different and really quirky and weird. And I think right off the bat, whether or not you're going to find the movie to your liking, you're going to be interested in the story just based on how it develops. I think it's a bit wacky, of course, and the hallucinations, and it's an interesting one. We'll say that. But I think all in all, I think it was a fun, different watch and something to kind of change up the pace. And who doesn't love Sam Huntington? You've seen Jungle to Jungle, right? Yeah, Mimi's good. Yeah,
I like him. I think that everyone is so charming in this movie. It really helps it, but it does work. Like, it should be ridiculous, and I laughed a lot. I enjoyed it. Got really into it, and I thought, it does spiral out of control, but
it's a fun spiral.
Handled with care. Taika Waititi was great in his role. It's kind of very similar to his role in Jojo Rabbit in a way.
Right, the motherfucker can't be real in anything.
Yeah, but I think the star of it for me, and I think Kate Micucci is just adorable and love her. But Dan Harmon was so good in this. I really dug his character. He had me laughing more than anything, and I would like to see him in more shit. I really would.
Yeah, that would be something. Some more Rick and Morty's coming out soon, so you'll get that.
I mean, it's got people like Taika Waititi and Dan Harmon at this point. I mean, this movie was made years ago, because I remember Harmon talking about, when I used to listen to Harmontown, about growing the mustache and stuff. So it took a while to come out, but those guys, Harmon and Taika Waititi, can do whatever the hell they want. They got money. They got fuck you money. They don't have to be starring in independent movies. But something really special. Is definitely going to be a cult classic and worth the rental price for sure.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. It's a fun one.
So something I'm trying to do in these quarantine times is go back and check off some stuff that I have time, man. Like, this is a time to watch those 3-hour movies or things you missed out on. And I'm ashamed to say I hadn't seen Blade Runner up until this point. I'm big fan of Blade Runner 2049. I think it's like one of the best movies of the past couple years. But never saw the OG one. It's on Netflix right now. It's the final cut. It's Ridley Scott's preferred cut. So
I think everyone likes this cut more than the original. Yeah,
it doesn't have the voiceover in it. But yeah, this movie is cool as fuck. I think the main thing about Blade Runner is just cool. Like, there's not much to it. It's about a Blade Runner is basically a person that has to terminate replicants that are like cyborg people. And in this movie, some of the replicants become self-aware and realize that they were built to die early, so they couldn't like rebel too far, and they are trying to find their creator and reverse that. And it's a film noir, like mystery sci-fi, led by Harrison Ford and directed by Ridley Scott, and it is worthy of its like cult classic status. I think it's very entertaining, and if you haven't checked it out before, I would recommend you do so. And if you haven't seen it in a while, definitely worth a rewatch. I think it holds up.
Yeah, definitely. Especially now that they revamped it a bit, you can watch it in a little bit better quality. This is the time to do it. Put it down and do it, and then you can go watch the Gosling one.
Yeah, I will say one of the reasons I didn't see it was like a couple years ago. I was whoever I was dating at the time. I wanted to watch it, and we looked at the trailer, and the trailer is just a 3-minute or 5-minute scene just pulled out of the movie with no context that made no fucking sense. It's the weirdest trailer ever, and I was like, yeah,
that's Netflix.
No, this is like the theatrical trailer.
Oh,
yeah, like this is fucking terrible. Okay,
nice.
One of the things I've been most excited to talk about is Red Dawn. So back on,
which you had never seen.
I have never seen. I don't like war movies typically. This is straight up fucking propaganda. It's like anti-Russian propaganda. 1984 film that takes place on the dawn of World War III in this Midwestern town in America. A group of teenagers band together to defend their town and their country from the invading Soviet forces. And also, Cuba's involved in this. Basically, anyone that's like in the 80s that is
the iron fucking hand of
that is considered communistic or socialist. Yeah. So it's just a bizarre concept and very jarring opening where like it takes place inside of a school. You see like all these people parachuting down, and all of a sudden this small town is taken over and occupied.
Right, like it just happens.
And Patrick Swayze leads a group of dudes. They go off into the woods, like not that far off of the town, but they hide out in the woods, and they're just like natural fucking marksmen and military like wartime plotting dudes. And you got Patrick Swayze in there, and then they meet up Charlie Sheen, who's like, it's a very weird Charlie Sheen performance where like you barely can tell it's Charlie Sheen. He's not even really like looking into the camera. He's doing the opposite of like chewing up scenery.
Okay.
Very strange. Didn't you think so?
I didn't watch it recently.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know. He's just hanging out there with his fucking hair.
Yeah, and then they adopt Leah Thompson and Jennifer Grey.
Yeah, I love Leah Thompson in this. She's
Yeah.
good.
But yeah, so this movie's straight up propaganda. It's shameless propaganda. It's silly. The performances are so bad. There's this thing where there's toxic masculinity where Patrick Swayze is always like yelling at people, "Don't cry, never cry again," and then fucking they have these like weird like
moments.
hug out moments right after that, like in the same scene. It's bizarre.
Okay, I'm just gonna disagree. I fucking love Red Dawn. Fuck you.
Hold on, man. I'm saying, like, but despite all these things against it, it is strangely entertaining. I enjoyed every second of it. It's the bizarre setting, and it is weird. Like, I thought they did a really good job of the production of setting up this small town and it being occupied. Like, it seemed very realistic. And it's just the way it's done. Like, it's so 80s and so matter of fact. World War III setting, and the fact that we can look back and laugh at it because it's like 25 years old.
Hey,
35
I
years
still
old.
love it. Wolverine for life, baby.
Wolverine.
Fucking when they had to shoot their boy because like he ate the fucking tracker.
Yeah, just saying that ate the tracker.
Well, they made him eat the tracker.
There is a lot of stuff, and it was probably effective propaganda because there is some shit in there that really like will affect you emotionally in this wild ass goofy movie, like when all the dads are like caged in,
right, in their own little American concentration camps.
Yeah, it's a truly bizarre movie. It's so like Red Scare 80s America. It's 80s shitty popcorn movie. It's all these things rolled into one, and it is a special movie. It's truly bizarre, and it's directed by a guy, John Milius, who's done like Conan the Barbarian, was a writer on Apocalypse Now. Like he's directed like legit shit, and also directed this goofy ass movie.
Hey, this fucking goofy ass movie was fucking awesome. Wolverine, man. The other thing I noticed about Red Dawn was the minimalist approach to the soundtrack. It was very quiet. A lot of it didn't have soundtrack at points. Mm-hmm. Did you ever notice how quiet the movie was at points?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, they were hiding out and stuff. And,
not just because they were fucking hiding out. I mean, like, it wasn't this big, over-the-top horns and symphony and trying to push a lot of this, like Saving Private Ryan, just over the top music and soundtrack. It was really it was almost bare bones quiet a lot of the time with very minimal music.
Yeah, that was part of the charm to it for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm recommending it. It's just with the precursor, like all the reasons why I shouldn't like it, and I still enjoyed it. It was a very unique experience for me.
Well, I could watch Red Dawn at any time. Still be cool with it.
I think I could too.
Yeah. So I saw something that popped across my Netflix that I'd never seen before. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have. I've seen it on my Netflix as well.
But you haven't seen it.
No, sir.
Okay. It's called Don Verdean, and it's about a self-professed biblical archaeologist who has fallen on hard times and starts to bend the truth in order to continue inspiring the faithful. Basically meaning that he will find stuff that is not actually the stuff that he says it is.
It's actually going on in real life, by the way.
That's not surprising.
No.
Sam Rockwell plays Don Verdean, and Amy Ryan again shows up as Carol Jensen. It's Amy Ryan themed episode. As his assistant, Will Forte plays the evil pastor who's trying to out him, but he also used to be a satanic worshiper and now is a priest. Danny McBride plays the first guy that backs him and funds him he's like, hey, I believe in everything you're doing. I think you could fucking save us. I need you to go find stuff for this church and we can bring in more believers and shit. It's almost like a weird black comedy in a sense, because I think they hold a lot of serious tones throughout, even though they introduce some really ridiculous plot lines and situations. But Sam Rockwell holds firm to being Don Verdean, the pastor, archaeologist man that's here to help God. But then, he fucking reams a few people out, and it's pretty good. I would definitely recommend watching it, if anything, for Jermaine Clement, who you've seen in things. I think he was in Silicon Valley, if I'm not crazy. Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah. Legion.
Yeah, fucking. He plays this dude named Boaz, who's like the guy like out in the middle of nowhere finding random. She's like, "Oh, I'll help you. You'll find stuff. I'll help you. No, it's fine. Just pay me. You'll send the money now." And you got it. Like just watching this for him and how ridiculous he becomes when he brings him to America. He's like, "You need to find me a wife, Don." It's pretty ridiculous. It's definitely over the top shenanigans. Kind of like reminds me on more of a Christopher Guest type level, and not on the base of his characters, but that subtle comedy.
Gotcha. Well, you know who it's written and directed by, which is going to be like an unintentional segue. So it's written and directed by Jared Hess. Napoleon Dynamite,
okay, so that makes
Nacho Libre, Gentleman Broncos, what I even kind of enjoyed, and he did a Napoleon Dynamite cartoon, which now I know exists and I have to watch. Yeah,
definitely check it out, man. It's kind of weird. Not everyone I think would like it, but it's quirky and odd, and definitely worth a one watch and to get your thoughts on. Yeah.
Were you a Nacho Libre fan?
Not particularly.
Oh man, I dug that movie.
It took me a while to be a Napoleon fan either. So
the first time I watched Napoleon Dynamite, I was like, I don't like this. And, gosh. And then I was like, you know what? I need to rewatch this. And I watched it like the next day, and I fucking dug the shit out of it, and just like would not stop making Napoleon Dynamite references that year.
Yeah, John Heater's always been a hit or miss for me, and more on the miss. Sometimes he hits.
Well, speaking of
John Heater.
Whoa, our first segue. I've been aware of this film when Jeff tried to save the world for like a couple years now, and finally got a chance to watch it. It is available on Hoopla. You can also digitally rent it. And this is about a character named Jeff, obviously, starring John Heater. And he's a manager of like an old school bowling alley, and he discovers that the owner wants to sell it, and he wants to pull himself out of just the shit cloud that is his life and save this bowling alley because it was basically like his safety blanket, like holding his life together. Yeah, and I mean, I've worked at places that I really dug, and then just the times decided was no longer necessary. Blockbuster video, sure. And so I definitely resonated with that. And I like John Hader. He was like, again, like in that era was like a pretty big actor too. So I attached both those things to those times. And I thought this was a pretty charming movie, man. Like it's got some funny bits in it, and there's some great like world building in the characters of the bowling alley and stuff. And not laugh out loud funny. And there's definitely a little bit of drama there because it's about like a person struggling with like, getting their adult life, whatever that means, like, fully going. And I thought it was an interesting watch, man. I dug it.
Cool. How's the pacing though? It was
pacing. It's like a 90-minute movie, and I was, I cared about the main character for sure. There's like this subplot with his sister and her friend that was, decent, but I just like John Hader's character and thought the movie was pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
You don't have to yell at me about it, fucking ass.
Yeah. You just recently watched A Gentleman, which is another like I think it's not as expensive.
You can rent it for like $13.
Yeah, it's like in between like the normal $6 and $20 because it's a little bit early for this to be a digital rental, but it's not that early. It was in theaters like 2 months ago.
I love that we're judging time on the dollars that we spend on movies. It's relative to time.
Well, there's like a new cycle, and it's kind of temporary, but that used to be a thing. Like things they'd have the rental window, then the DVD window, and that kind of goes the way it's been recently. There's theatrical window, then you can buy it digitally for like $20 to $15. Then you can rent it, and then it ends up on streaming. Now it's like this in between process.
There's a gray place.
Yeah.
There's an upside down. So I watched The Gentleman, which you had seen already, correct? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
In theaters.
About an American who tries to sell off his highly profitable marijuana empire in London, triggering plots and schemes, bribery, blackmail, the whole world over shenanigans. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. If you're not familiar with it, with his style, fucking watch one of the other 6. I think this is a great installment. It's a great fucking movie. I think Guy Ritchie should be required to churn one of these out every, 1 to 3 years. Just keep writing these stories with these characters and these ideas because they're always so fucking good.
This is what he's good at. Yeah. I mean,
let me help you out. They're so fucking good.
So fucking good. Sherlock Holmes is about as far away from his comfort zone as I want him to get. Aladdin,
and it's not bad.
Aladdin was bad. Did you know there was a Snatch TV series? Like, I didn't know that either.
No.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting, dude. It's got fucking Ron Weasley in it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird. But yeah, it's just fantastic characters with great, just everything about what he does is so perfect and what he does so well. And I mean, I don't know and everyone's different, you never see one, you go, fuck, I saw that exact same thing. He does hints of things that are similar in style and what have you. But overall, just fantastic performances all the way around. Charlie Hunnam, Hugh Grant being a Weasley little bitch. Colin Farrell was so perfect. I love him playing this coach role. Just all the characters so fantastic. So Guy Ritchie, if he could do this, I would eat these up every fucking year without issue.
Well, good news for you. It's probably going to be pushed back, but expected January of next year is a movie called Cash Truck, written by Guy Ritchie, directed by Guy Ritchie, that follows H, a cold and mysterious character working a cash truck company responsible for moving hundreds of millions of dollars around Los Angeles each week, starring Scott Eastwood, Jason Statham, Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
Did you just say Josh Hartnett?
Yeah, Josh Hartnett.
I love that he's making a comeback. I have always been the biggest Josh Hartnett fan. If you don't
I'm
know this.
sure there's some ladies and gentlemen that would disagree with you.
What?
That you're the biggest?
I fuck you. Fuck those ladies. Come get me, son. Come get some. I will fight you over Josh Hartnett.
There's a Paradise Lost TV series that he.
Yes. So I did see that's where I saw it was kind of his comeback thing, and apparently that's been shot and taken a long time to come out. So that's something I'm interested in checking out. However, it's great to see him coming back and doing some stuff because
I'm kind of upset.
What?
I was also reading his IMDb. There's a show called Die Hard, and I was like, oh, like Josh Hartnett? And no, it's about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart plays a fictionalized version of himself to land an action movie role of a lifetime. But
fuck yeah.
Josh Hartnett's out there doing stuff. That's good.
Fuck yeah. Who's your one person you want that's just walked away from acting that you want, like, hey, come back?
Well, Rick Moranis is coming back.
That is it. Rick Moranis is number one.
He's doing a new Honey, I Shrunk movie.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, dude.
Well, look, I get it. He went
the world could just restart, like Hartnett and Rick Moranis. Like, we're coming back, baby.
We can do another wing commander, Matt Lillard. Matt Lillard's still like good girls.
Yeah. Matt Lillard went viral. He was trending for some reason, some weird reason. I don't know, like months ago. Back when there was like goofy shit to talk about online. But yeah, Josh Hartnett.
Let's see Rappaport in some more movies.
We love you. Maybe Hartnett has grown a mustache fully by now.
Maybe. And who cares if he hasn't? Nobody cares.
Wrapping up, the two best movies that I've seen during all this time since the last episode are Police Story, which you can digitally rent, but is also on Kanopy.
Okay.
This is 1985 action movie, written, directed, starring Jackie Chan. Holy shit. This is about a Hong Kong police officer who has to clear his name when a drug lord he's after frames him for the murder of a dirty cop. This is like if you made a Family Guy sketch of like what Jackie Chan directed would be like. It just starts off at this breakneck speed, and it's so fast paced, full of action, and it's everything Jackie Chan is known for. He's funny, he's charming, he kicks ass. It's a great movie, dude. Like, have you seen this one?
I believe so. I've seen most of the Jackie Chan movies. You know I have a high taste in movies, Frank.
Yeah, so it's 1985, and I know that turns some people off when there's something that's like, you know, I'm 30-some years old. But
get the fuck out of here. Jackie Chan's been doing shit way cooler than anyone else could ever do in martial arts way before, you know, we ever saw.
And the fact that he directed this, like, this is all him, was very interesting. I didn't realize he directed so much stuff. And, well, I mean, he has a huge production company and a fucking cartoon now, and, you know, the dude's just amazing. But this is really great early Jackie Chan, and I highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. If you're a big action movie fan, you like cops and robbers type shit, like, this is so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, this is before Rush Hour was cool, man.
Oh, yeah, it's like a decade before. Well, he escaped to America because, like, the fucking Hong Kong mafia was trying to kill him. And then after, like, the heat died down, he just didn't really like what Hollywood was doing with his talents. He went back and is, you know, doing his own thing. Although he has, you know, speaking of upcoming stuff, he's got a Rush Hour 4 coming up that's in pre-production. He's got a bunch of shit. I mean, the guy's got like 130 credits on there, but yeah.
Some people fucking working hard, man.
And he's got great, listen to the names of these upcoming movies. Shanghai Dawn, Once Upon a Zodiac, Five Against a Bullet, Project Extraction. That's such a 90s thing.
These all sound like Mad Libs.
Good Night, Beijing.
These all sound like Mad Libs.
Yeah, and I just watched, I think last episode I did The Foreigner with him. That weird movie with fucking Pierce Brosnan.
And Nancy Irish.
But yeah, so that Police Story is great action movie. And then totally opposite ends is the art house Portrait of a Lady on Fire is on Hulu right now. I was hoping to see this in theaters, and it just didn't come anywhere near my my city, unfortunately. But this is like one of the great romance stories. Takes place on an isolated island, and a female painter is trying to paint a secret portrait of a young woman before her wedding that she has no choice in, and she's not even doesn't even realize that the painting is being made because she's against it. So she like the painter strikes a friendship up with this woman and has to try to paint her from memory. And a romance sparks from this. It is some great, great acting, beautiful looking movie. And I'm not a huge romance fan, but when it's done great, like, it's undeniable, and this is worthy of all the praise, man. So I don't know if that's like outside of your comfort zone, but I think this is like, if you look at one escapism, how about a subtitled movie, a French romance movie that takes place in the 18th century with two great actresses and just a glorious settings.
Bro, I'm playing a whole game that's subtitled. I got culture.
All right, bro.
Yeah, culture, bro.
This movie's great. I think it's awesome that Hulu snagged it. I was surprised that, because, like I said, I haven't really been...
They're trying to beef up their arsenal, man.
Yeah, they have some really good originals and some really good exclusives on there.
Yeah, no, they're... hopefully, I think it was Hulu that did Future Man. Is that correct? Or is that...
Could be. But yeah, dude, was this something you think you would watch?
I don't know, man. Right now, maybe not, but maybe someday.
Gotcha. I mean, like I said, it's not like my favorite genre, but when it's done right, I'm trying to think of the one. They'll stick with me. Like, there's like less than 10 like romance movies I really dig.
Science of Sleep.
Science
Eternal
of Sleep is up
Sunshine.
there. Love Me If You Dare. Atonement. Like, stuff that if you really believe the romance, like, it can be very powerful. But yeah.
Did you ever see a Wrist Cutter's love story or whatever?
Yeah. That's
all right.
A little darker. Yeah. But yes, Future Man is on Hulu.
Yeah. So that was one of the best releases from Hulu for me. I hope that I can see more. Have you watched any of that, by the way?
No, not yet.
That shit is so fucking hilarious, dude. You're missing out. You will just laugh nonstop. You'll just be surprised at how far they push envelopes. I think you'll really like it. You're running out of shit to watch. It's only 2 seasons.
I like to laugh.
And fucking what's his name? Our boy from Sixth Sense, Haley Joel Osment.
I do like him.
He plays this fucking asshole boss, but then in a parallel universe, he plays a timid boss.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to check it out. And then he plays a very huge role in the second season. Man, you watch that fucking show. I need you to watch it. Just do it.
I will do my best.
Watch a couple episodes of Future Man.
Cool.
Also, so playing Final Fantasy VII, I just wanted you to know this. So I named all my characters after the Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay.
So now, like, Ghostface Killer gets in fights with Method Man and tries to be the boss of the group, but everyone kind of shuts him down. And then RZA got stabbed. It was a whole thing, man.
The RZA Razor. Yeah. So this, I think a lot of stuff we watch here took place like before, during our
sometime
lockdown.
Around.
Yeah. But I think like our next episode will be more focused. I'm going to watch a lot of documentaries and I'm going to watch a lot of end of the world stuff. It's just what I'm in the mood for. I want to learn.
I'm going to be a free spirit.
I want to learn and I want to like watch all these scenarios play out.
I'm going to be a free spirit, and a new season of Nailed It came out, so I'm going to watch people fuck up food.
I'm so happy. I think I'm like 2 seasons behind on Nailed It, but that is a great show to binge. Just pure entertainment.
Why? Oh my god, dude! Did you see the Donald Trump episode?
No.
If you see that and see what it's like, you can't forget what this dude made. Like, when I think of it right now, I can still see it. It's horrifying. It's fucking terrifying. Did you ever see MTV's The Head?
Yes, I own it.
I own it too. How do you own it?
It's on iTunes. I just thought about it. It was one of those things I'm like, I haven't thought about that show in a decade. I'm like, I need to buy it now before I forget. I watched it a couple years ago.
Yeah, with Roy and such a great fucking cartoon. With lawnmower face and fish bowl mouth.
It's so
guy.
fucking weird. It's when MTV put out American-made anime.
It was MTV Oddities and shit, where they were putting out like good stuff at the time.
Aeon Flux,
Max, and I had the whole Aeon Flux series. Actually, got that when I worked at Blockbuster at one point. And that's what made me also hate the movie. I was like, this character's so much tougher than Charlize Theron. I didn't like what they did in the movie. I was like, this is fucking terrible. That show was way grittier, sexier, darker. Yeah, MTV really did know how to do cartoons. I will say that. Why were we talking about the head?
No idea, but yeah, I forget that I own a couple of TV shows on iTunes. I have that Search Party, which Search Party needs to come back.
I have the whole Lil Bush.
Nice.
You remember when he was president?
Yeah.
And Lil Cheney, Lil Bush, and Clone High, which is one of my all-time favorite shows.
You talk about that one a lot, yeah.
I know, because it's probably the best cartoon I ever watched. Probably the best one ever. Now you know.
All right, let's wrap this podcast up.
Wrap it up so you don't get anything.
Thanks for listening. We will be back with more stuff to help you folks get through this. Yeah, stay home, stay clean.
Wash your dick.
Take care of grocery store workers, food delivery people, and anyone that's helping you out. And we will return.
Help people.
Love ya.
No, I don't.
People worship these idols till they come in contact with gods. Hoes is all my disciples, you get mind fucked with these broads. Life is just a recital, better remember all that you practice. When I die, throw a couple bad bitches in my casket. Whoa, fuck a day job, got your bitch in just a tank top, getting paid. Roll my face off, bitch, you bank fraud, Bernie Madoff. Educate y'all, then erase y'all. Hello, Cool J without the Kango. I don't see none of this stunt. Wish you the best, I'ma just light up this blunt. This bitch love me long time, don't know why she wouldn't. Send my decoy in the Heisman, yeah, I'm Charles Woodson. Couple million off a tour, that's a lot of bookings. My bitch is gorgeous looking, imported from the shore of Brooklyn, coming from out of the burg. Bitch, I'm absurd, fuck you up, hope you insured. Hating, I'll give you just what you deserve, that's my word. Put it on all that I'm worth, been on my grind, take it what's mine. I got my eyes on the throne, I'ma be fine no matter the time, we all go along.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.